basically, you're going to be told the nature of reality. But all you really need to know is infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. And it repeated it. Infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. The illusion that has stopped us understanding our true nature, which is consciousness, is what creates the division, the chaos, the conflict, the hatred, and stops us being what we truly are, which is incarnate love. That's what we're supposed to be. Not love in the sense of, I saw you down the disco, fancy you, darling, love you, darling, all that stuff. No, it's love in another way. We have so misrepresented what love is. We have to put words in front of it now, like unconditional love and what have you. But it is a state of harmony, a state of being, a state of compassion, a state of empathy. And when we are in that state, there is no disharmony. But when you fall for the illusion of what I call the phantom self, the name of one of my books, where we self-identify who we are with the labels, then the force manipulating human society can play those labels off against each other and create divide and rule and conflict, which is what it does. And through this subdivision and subdivision of the minutiae of self-identity, it's doing it on an ever greater scale. When you self-identify with being a point of attention within infinite awareness, and I look at you and I know that you are a point of attention within the same awareness, and so are you, and so are you, and so is everybody else, then we view each other in a completely different way. No longer do we need to compete. No longer do we need to manipulate. No longer do we need to trash. No longer do we need to cuss and kick and fight to get to the top of the greasy pole. The greasy pole for what? The greasy pole within this infinitesimal section of time we call a human life, when what we are infinitely is consciousness. And we have to fight each other and punch each other and kick each other to get to the top of a greasy pole in this tiny segment of life, or time we call life. When people leave the body in a near-death experience and they go to a point where they become consciousness, a state of awareness, then time as we experience it here does not exist. And if you think about time, people think there's a past and there's a future, but there's only a now. There's only a now moment, and so that's very difficult for people to grasp at first, because they think, well, I've been there and I'm going there. Well, but hold on a minute. When you're thinking of the past, where are you? You're in the now. When you're worrying about the future, where are you? You're in the now. And when what we call the future becomes an experience, it's experienced in the now. There's only the now. So time is an illusion too. But we use time so that we can operate within this reality. But again, it's part of the illusion. It's part of the reality that people think is real, but isn't. And if you kind of think about it, if you are a tiny group of people deep in the shadows who understand the nature of reality, the illusory nature of reality, how people interact with reality, how perceptions of people become their experience, cause and effect, just think of the magnitude of power that gives you over the target population. This is why mainstream science is so controlled, so that it doesn't go down these roads. I mean, you talk to most scientists, although quantum physics has shown this to be true, and they have to acknowledge quantum physics exists, because it does, they crack on in their own disciplines as if quantum physics doesn't exist, as if the whole thing's bloody solid and real. I mean, you look at science, you look at medicine, that journalism, like I say, all of it, politics, they're all living on this postage stamp. Oh, we're a left-wing political party. Okay, you're on the left of the postage stamp. And we're a right. Yeah, okay, you're on the right of the postage stamp. But no one's off the postage stamp. And therefore, society is living in this bubble of unreality, this bubble of complete misunderstanding of the very reality we're experiencing. And it's kind of sobering to think that science, politics, medicine, all of it, journalism, decisions being made all the time about what happens to the world and what happens here and what happens there, are all being made by people who are absolutely clueless about the very reality they are experiencing. They are making laws, making decisions based on the world being solid and real, when it's not. Is it any wonder that the world is chaotic and a place of utter madness? How could it not be? How could it not be? Understanding the reality that we're experiencing is fundamental to everything. How can we understand anything if we don't understand the very reality we're experiencing?